I'd like to call the meeting of the North Little Rock Planning Commission to order, please. Welcome everyone here today, and also welcome our new addition as our secretary for our minutes today, Allison Jones. Would you please call the roll?
Banks,
Present.
Velasco, Chambers,
Present.
Deeds, Foster,
Here.
Phillips,
Here.
Wallace,
Present.
White,
Here? I hear a motion.
I move to excuse those not present.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Those commissioners not present be excused. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. If you have your cell phones on, please turn them off at this time. Our Planning Commission procedures are on the back of the agenda if you'd like to pick up a copy. If you come to the microphone, please speak into the microphone. You have been submitted a copy of the minutes of our previous meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented?
Move for approval.
Motion made and seconded. They be approved as submitted. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll move right into our Design Review Committee, Development Review Committee. Mr. Don Chambers, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Development Review Committee met and considered item SD 2018-71, Country Club of Arkansas, Phase 25A, preliminary plat of a single-family residential subdivision. The committee met and considered items A1 through 12 and subsections, and recommends approval on all but item 2E. And I am recommending that because the applicant needs to get waivers from the city council for a reduced right-of-way and other considerations, that we allow the city council to establish the right-of-way and cross-section of street, sidewalks, curb, gutter, and trees. So we'll let them make that decision. So my motion would read, acquire a waiver from City Council for street right-of-way and cross-section, including street, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, street trees. That's what item E would be amended to, and that's a motion as chairman of the Development Review Committee, which requires a second.
Motion made, seconded. That item 2E be amended to read as Mr. Chambers. You do have that motion down. Any comments on the motion? On the motion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And on the item, Mr. Chairman.
On the application as presented and as amended, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on the application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
We also met on item SD 2019-8, Chiquito Addition, Lot A, site plan review of a metal building located at 1803 Highway 161. The applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 6 in subsections, and with that, the Development Review Committee recommends approval.
Motion made and seconded that it be approved as submitted. The applicant was asked on 2B to remove or to move his building 10 feet from the existing structure. He has come forward and presented evidence to the commission that he has moved that. So 2B would be eliminated. So any comments from anyone in the audience on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor of the application? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
We met and considered item SD 2019-9, Gardens of Lakewood, Lot 1, preliminary plat and site plan review of townhouses located at the northeast corner of McCain and Randolph. The applicant was present and agreed to items 1 through 13 and subsections, and with that, the Development Review Committee recommends approval.
Motion made and seconded. This application be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is SD 2019-11, PBGH Protho Addition, Lot 1, preliminary plat and site plan review of a Family Dollar store located at 2330 Highway 161. The applicant was present and agreed to items 1 through 12 in subsections, and Development Review Committee recommends approval.
Motion made and seconded, this application be approved as submitted. Anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Please let the record show that I did not vote on this application.
And that concludes the Development Review Committee's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. We'll move into our public hearing. First item of business today is conditional use number 2019-6 to allow a daycare center at the 4000 block of East Broadway in North Little Rock. Give us your name for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Kimberly Brassfield.
Okay, Ms. Brassfield, you were at the Design Review Committee meeting, and were you furnished a copy of the considerations?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with all those?
Yes, sir.
Any other comments you'd like to make? Any comments from anyone in the audience on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, or please call the roll, Ms. Allison.
Banks,
I will be abstaining from this one.
Alaska,
Yes?
Foster,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Yes. Your application did pass. Get with Mr. Spencer and he can tell you what to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chairman Clifton, as a
Yes,
point of
Mr.
reference, I own that property, so I just bagged off voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My wife and I own it. Yeah.
Item number 2, rezone case number 2019-4, rezone property at the southeast corner of Highway 70 and 391 from R2 to I2. The applicant's here. Yes, sir. You have any comments you'd like to make on this application?
The applicant actually is on the Hill Lake Road, or lake, they're gonna put a 100-foot buffer on that, along that lake also, just for the record.
Okay. Has staff reviewed what he's talking about here on the buffer?
We just heard today that he was going to present an amendment with a buffer on it, but we haven't reviewed anything for it.
Tell us what the buffer would be.
Well, it'd be a green space buffer to, where you couldn't, it'd be a green space between the commercial property. I mean, it'd still be zone commercial, but it'd be a green space where you couldn't build up to 100 foot from that, the lake there.
Okay. Do you see a problem with that, staff?
Concerns we have is this will be the first time we've rezoned for speculative rezoning for the property owner to make money. So usually we require some sort of a design plan and, what the goal is to be the use of the property, and then we'll rezone the property. But at this case, they're saying that there is not a plan yet. So I'm not sure what the 100-foot buffer is accomplishing when you're buffering from a conservation zone. I mean, it's going to protect the conservation zone, but from what?
Yeah.
So it could be, I don't know, a pig farm, or it could be a I-2 heavy industrial or something there. So we're, not quite sure what's being proposed.
Where was the buffer gonna be again? Along the
It's
north?
along the hill, lake there
To the north?
to the
Yeah, to
north.
the north.
yes.
So
Okay.
a buffer to the, if you're looking at that map, the green.
Right.
So you're buffering the green. The,
There's nothing inside that buffer except soybeans or whatever.
Yeah, there's nothing there right now. I mean, there's nothing there. It's just gonna be a buffer between the lake and whatever's built there, you know, for future.
Charlie, think of it as a 100-foot building line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. It's,
The, on this drawing here we're looking at, on the northeast side of this, we've got 13,415 and 12,219. What are those buildings they're representing?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Let me see.
Across the lake
Across
pond,
the,
along Highway 70.
I think they're houses that face the lake.
right.
Is that what those are?
Right, those are addresses.
It's like a farm, possibly.
I do believe those are houses on the opposite side of the highway, of Highway 70 there. Because along that, right there along there, 70 butts the lake. So, I mean, those would be houses on the opposite side of the highway,
Right.
like farms, they're big tracts of property.
I think this used to be where Kip Moore used to live.
It lives somewhere out there.
Yeah, in fact, I think this one is his place. John, what is it you're saying about there? Don't have a development plan developed for this, or we just, but I mean, would they not have to come back later and present that, or when they,
It would.
We usually require, yes, but we usually require something up front, so there's an idea of, you know, are there 100 different little small buildings, one big building, parking lot in front, some sort of a concept plan for us to at least feel comfortable of rezoning it. So like I said, usually, not usually, always, we've had some sort of a plan included with a rezoning.
doesn't our regulations require that? Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. But it's not just something we're imposing, it's one part of our regulation then.
is there,
Is there a reason we can't get that?
Well, I mean, he don't know exactly what they're going for yet in that area. Am I correct, Rex? I mean, they're still looking at different options of
is there,
revenue of going through there. I mean, what their plan is right at that time.
I think I may understand, but I'd rather hear it from you guys. Why do we want to get this going now and not bring it all in here at one time? I'm talking about the plan and ask for that to be reviewed at the same time we get this rezoning.
Well, the problem is if he gets a customer that comes in there that say wants to do, you know, something that's I-2 and has them ready to go and has to go through this whole plan, you know, the time frame, it could, for one, could set it back, but for two, what if it gets denied in the middle? You know, instead of going and getting our I-2, and then it has to be reviewed since it's I-2, it has to be reviewed, the site plan review has to be done on that
Right,
property.
John, let me ask you, I'm sorry,
I just don't understand why we can't get that, you know, some kind of an idea of a plan he might want to use, or postpone this until he does have some kind of idea. Or is he wanting to do this so he can market it in that fashion?
Marketing. This is actually the owner of the
let
property.
me ask a question at this point. Is this something that could be made a possible amendment to a resolution to approve a conceptual plan or something like this, that we would be amendable to an I-2 zone depending on a presentation of a development plan?
I wouldn't think so, because the planning commission's members could change in between the time now you would make a resolution. I don't know if planning commission can make a resolution at all. That's a different question there, but the members could change, so there would be no guarantee to that. And then also, you know, one of our thoughts is, what if a large box wants to come in here, you've just now rezoned it I-2, you're going to come back and rezone it to commercial. So, you know,
I hope that happens.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, they need it out there. So, you know, we're sort of different than some other cities, that if you want to rezone and do site plan review and plat it all at the same meeting,
Okay,
we'll go
look,
through that process.
Here's the thought, and my name's Rex Robertson. So we have a business park planned for all of the land from Loop 440 all the way on the other side of Highway 391. So from 440 to 391, it's currently zoned industrial. And we want to incorporate the east side of 391 into our business park master plan and begin marketing of that. So like Jason said, if we don't zone it now and we have a user that says, I'd like to buy a site on that side, I say, okay, well, it's not zoned, so let me run back and get it zoned. And so I'm just trying to get it all under one zoning for one master plan business park. So that, I don't have plans for any of it right now. I mean, we have street layouts, but we don't have any buyers yet. We haven't begun marketing. So that's the purpose. I mean, if it has to wait, it has to wait, but it kind of puts me to where I can't in good faith tell somebody that this is part of the business park because it's not zoned that way. So that's why I'm trying to get that accomplished up front.
Well, I foresee that area out there going commercial and industrial. I certainly don't see it remaining residential. And I understand your complication with it now.
But I'm okay. It's not that big a deal. I mean, there again, we wanted to be able to put a master plan together and say it's all zoned for this, but if I have to tell an interested buyer that it's going to require rezoning, it's not a huge deal. So, I mean, if you're telling me that once I have a light industrial user, whether it's light manufacturing, distribution, office, warehouse, if I have that user in hand and come back, that it's almost guaranteed that you get the zoning then?
Not going to guarantee anything or even say that, but if you've got a plan, we want the business and the employees and stuff in North Little Rock.
But you can do all three of those at the same time.
Right.
Rezone,
Sean?
site plan review, and everything all at the same time.
That was going to be my next question. So you give you some kind of understanding, if you get a potential client, you'd like to be able to tell him, hey, and how much time could we expedite rezoning through? What's the minimum?
The whole process is a month and a half.
Okay.
Which you'd
It's
be
not a
going.
big deal.
Yeah.
It was going to be ease of marketing, but if it's a problem, it can wait.
Mr. Chambers?
I oppose speculative zoning, but my experience is we fall all over ourselves trying to bring a new employer to the city.
I understand. I
So-
appreciate that.
I don't see a extreme crunch to have to rezone
So
it
what's
right
the
now.
proper procedure, to table it or just for us to pull the application?
You could either table it and it will die on its own for 2 more times coming up, or you can withdraw it now at your pleasure.
Problem is if you table it and it dies, then you gotta wait a year, right?
Right, I was going
No, that'd be a vote from city council.
But let's just go ahead and withdraw it.
Okay, that would make it
Then come up
easier
the
on
next
us.
2 meetings and they
That'd
go,
be the
where are
best.
they?
That'd be the best.
So that okay?
withdraws, he could bring it back next month.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, I just want to make sure you feel,
All right.
Very
I think
good.
we want to work with you, okay?
understand, I
I don't want you to go away with that attitude. Thank you.
I will, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our agenda. We have a public comment section. Anyone have a public comment they'd like to make? Mr. Chambers?
Yes, I'd just like to tell Allison that it is completely fair, legal, and highly recommended by the peoples whose name starts with A, B, and C, that you can also start reading that roll X, Y, and Z to A. That's allowed and recommended. Supported by someone whose name starts with C and B. 2 people start with B.
Anybody? Motion?
Move to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mobley, for, Mr. Mobley.